What is up, family? So today I'm bringing you guys on bring a very special guest today. Multi-millionaires, all right, started from the bottom, all right. I think he acquired over 80 rentals already and still freaking growing. But what I want him to talk about today is on his biggest deal that he just closed for $5 million using none of his own money. And this is what he does, okay? So you guys put your hand together, and if you enjoy this interview, boom, smash that thumbs up. Help me welcome Austin. What's going on, dude?
What's up, brother? How are you, man?
Good, man, dude. So, Austin, I got a lot of questions to ask you. I'm seeing that you're doing your book tour. You just launched your book, dude. Bro, how did that go?
It was good, man. First, I just want to say this. Like, I love your energy. You was one of like the OG social media TikTok guys, and you're crushing it, brother. So it's an honor to be on here. I appreciate it, bro. But as far as the book tour, we did 10 cities in 13 days. Books called Get Free Houses, How to Build Generational Wealth Using Other People's Money. It was amazing, connected with a ton of people, but I was tired afterwards.
So how many hours a day, dude?
So we drove from city to city. So we get up at like 7, work for like an hour, jump in a car, drive 4 or 5 hours to the next city, get there at 1, 2 o'clock, set up for another hour, hour and a half, go upstairs for an hour, shower, come back down 5 o'clock, go from 5 to midnight and do it the next day and the next day and the next day and the next day.
Damn. Whoo, bro. Wow, man. Yeah, dude. I don't know if I could do that.
I did it once. I don't know if I'm doing it again.
Good. Hey, but it seems like you get to meet a lot of cool people.
For sure. I mean, that's the coolest part about it, is just like connecting face to face. Like, as you know, like social media, camera, you can connect with a lot of people,
Yep.
but the relationships are just so much better and deeper when you're actually in person with those people.
Yep. Because when you're in person, people can say, hey, Austin, I can touch this guy. I can see this guy. I can feel this guy. Right. And dude, I completely agree with you. Like the connections that you get just through, over the phone, over the screen, it's just completely when it's in person. And that's why people go to speaking event, because they want to get a little bit closer to their fan, to their followers, to the audience.
100%, 100%.
But bro, congrats on the book tour. Congrats.
Appreciate it, brother. For sure.
So Austin, dude, for those that don't know who you are, and I don't see how you guys don't know who he is, man. He's all over the place. So Austin, for those that don't know, they're living in the caveman, 1980 or something. So, dude, a little bit about yourself and how you got started in real estate. And then after that, let's talk about your big, gigantic deal, man. The $5 million.
For sure, for sure. So my original dream was to go to the NBA. That didn't really work out. Fell in love with the idea of real estate after that. It was really passive residual income. I was like, money that you can make every month without working. That sounds pretty good to me. So I ended up buying a duplex when I was 20 years old, flipped my first house 4 days after my 22nd birthday, made $107,000 net profit. And since then, flipped hundreds of houses, done new construction, wholesales, own almost about 100 rental properties today. But the coolest part, and that's been about a 7-8 year process, but the coolest part about that is it's all been done using other people's money. So I've been able to raise like over almost $25 million of OPM to fund all those deals. So really the power is in the money. Once you can take down properties, get access to money, your wealth can grow and your profitability can grow at a whole new level.
Damn, dude. Okay, so I'm also going to ask you is, now, Austin, I want to ask you this, man. How do you go and raise money when you have like basically nothing? That's like the hardest thing to do.
For sure. So my first deal, that first flip, it was a $74,000 purchase and $170,000 rehab. So it was a $250,000 raise, and I didn't have the money. So that first deal, I was actually able to raise private money to fund it. So I ended up emailing my lender like literally like 6 months ago, 7 years later. I'm like, why did you lend me the money? Just for the record. And she responded, I was 21 years old. She responded with like, we were both in the same like coaching program. So she was like, hey, like you were actually trying to educate yourself. You were learning from the right things. You understood the process top to bottom. And also like any questions I had, you had an answer to, and I could just tell that like you were hungry. You know what I mean? Like you would go out there. I was crawling through the attics, through the basement crawl spaces. She was there, like walking the house with me. She was like, I just had faith in you. So she lent at 12% and 2 points, escrowed the rehab funds. but it got the deal done, and we made $100,000 profit on that first deal. So, I mean, at the beginning, with no experience, it is harder to raise money, but it's not impossible to raise money. You might just have to jump through a couple extra hoops along the way.
So now, Austin, how did you? You mentioned that you guys are in the same mastermind or in the same what? So, yeah.
So way back, I joined Fortune Builders. That's kind of like how I got to the game of real estate. She was in there too. We were at like a networking event. That's how we connected.
Got it. Dude, Fortune Builder costs what? 40 G's? 30 G's?
It was 25 racks when I maxed out my credit card, 18 months, no interest.
Bro.
We made it happen.
Bro, let me tell you what's crazy, dude. So when Lon and I were getting into real estate, this is like 10 years ago. And I swear to God, dude, they got some freaking killer salesmen. Lon, dude, we almost paid 40 G's. Almost. They were calling Lon, talking. Dude, it just makes everything sound so good. Lon almost pulled the trigger, but she went with her intuition, felt that there's something that's not connecting. So we end up, paying $7,000 to go to the seminars, and that's how I met my mentor. But I'm telling you, those guys, dude,
they can close.
Yeah, they can certainly close, man. They're definitely closer. So, okay, Austin, let's talk about your most recent deal, man. I'm excited for you, bro. So how do you found the deal? How do you raise the money and all that, dude?
Yeah, so a buddy of mine actually ended up finding it. So it was 19 single family houses, all from the same seller, all relatively in the same neighborhood. And they put it under contract, and they couldn't raise $3.1 million to fund it. They probably could have assigned it, made $700,000-800,000 on an assignment fee, which obviously is great money on one deal. But they're like, I think there's a bigger opportunity there. So they called me and they're like, here's the deal. They sent me the numbers. I looked at it. I was like, this is one of the best deals I've ever seen in my life. I was like, this is the one. And so we started talking about it. Like, how do we put it together? What does a partnership look like? Long story short, we ended up negotiating to buy it at $3.1 million. And they really didn't need that much work. Like, more than half the units, we didn't even do any renovation to. And then the other half, we did like paint and carpet. So we put about $150,000 into it. And the way that we structured it is when we bought the 19, I actually raised private money for the acquisitions rep to buy one of them. So we ended up buying 18. The acquisitions rep got one house that I raised the money on his behalf for. So that was like his, acquisitions commission fee. So he got one house, and then we bought the 18, and it was about 3.3 mil in total raise. So I got a bank to come in, fund 2.65, bank that I've worked with a ton. And then I was able to raise the gap, the equity, from one of my private money lenders of $650,000. Paid him 12% interest. The cool part with this is there was no equity involved, because a lot of these bigger syndication deals usually have to give out equity to your money partners. But I was able to bring them on with no equity. So bought it, took it down, did the rehab. 6 months later. So the crazier part, when we bought it, they appraised at 4.8. So we bought it at 3.1. On the purchase, they appraised at 4.8. And then 6 months later, when we refinanced it, they appraised at 5.65, so almost $5.7 million. And then we were able to cash out refi all of our money into it, which was about $3.3 million. So we have about $2.4 million in equity at like a 57% loan to value. So now we're also going to go pull a line of credit of about $1 million to be able to go out there and do, whatever we want with that additional money.
All right. Okay, you guys, I'm going to have Austin slow down a little bit and break this down for you guys, because I know a lot of you guys that are, following me, probably like new into the game. Whatever Austin just say, it probably sound like Chinese to you. So it's like woo over your head. So I'm gonna have him break down. But one thing I want you guys to understand, I want you guys to understand how real estate investor thinks. All right. So if you want to get rich in real estate, you got to think like an investor, not a homeowner. Which means you make decisions based on numbers. Numbers looks good. You like the You like the thing? Boom, go ahead and do it. But most homeowner, right? They don't think like that. Now check this out. So Austin bought. So Austin, you bought the day that you got this under you signed the contract to buy it at 3.1.
Yep.
It was appraised as is for 4.8 million.
Yeah, crazy.
And I had to take out my calculator, dude, because I'm not good with math. Not all Asian are good with math, dude. That's 1.7 million in equity the day that you close on it. The day you close on it, dude, 1.7 mil richer.
Agreed. It's the wildest deal I've ever seen in my life.
Dude, 1.7 mil richer, bro. On the day that you just, all you do is you just sign. Boom. That signature is worth 1.7 mil. So, okay. So, Austin, so 3.1, you guys put 150K into the renovation. So you guys had all in on it for what, 3.3?
Oh, like after some fees and stuff, about 3.3.
Okay, 3.3. And you did a cash out refi on it?
Yep. So they would only give us 70% of the original appraised value, which came out to be right around $3.3 million. So we weren't able to cash out, a ton of money tax free on top of it, but we also didn't have to put any more money back into the deal. So we were able to, refi it and pay all the debts off. And then obviously it's going to continue to cash flow, and we still have $2.4 million of equity in it.
Gotcha. Okay. And for those that say, well, now Austin owes the bank 3.3, who cares? The renter is going to pay it off.
Facts.
Right?
100%.
So
100%.
A lot of you guys are thinking about the debt, but who pays the debt? Not you. The renter. Now, let's talk about the cash flow, dude. So 3.3 million, all right? What is the monthly mortgage on it?
Yep. So I'm actually pulling up that spreadsheet. Give me 2 more seconds.
Because you guys, if you're in real estate, you gotta love the numbers, dude. And that's what I want to know right here. Because this deal here, man, all day long, bro. All day long. Right. And
100%.
Austin, where's this deal based out of?
Columbus, Ohio, baby. So it's even crazier, right? So we bought the deal, and it's all kind of on the east side of Columbus. Yep. And then like 2 months after we purchased the deal, Intel, like one of the biggest chip manufacturers in the world, announced a $100 billion investment into like 15 minutes east of where we just bought all these houses. So like we bought them, and then $100 billion investment. It's like perfect timing, but all close around Columbus, Ohio.
Nice, dude.
Okay. So on the cash out refi, our monthly mortgage payment is about $19,000. So we got it at 5%, and we're paying about $19,000 a month.
So so 5% interest, $19,000 a month.
Yep.
Okay, now you guys got to check this out. How much rent are you guys bringing in per month, baby?
About $2,000 a unit, so $26,000, $36,000 a month.
So 36,000. So if you take 36,000 minus 19,000, what's that net?
So that's PI. So you got taxes and insurance. So round it up to $24,000-ish. Okay. So assuming perfect rental history, it's about a little bit more than $10,000 a month in profit. But as there's going to be some vacancies, going to be some repairs. So anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 a month in cash flow.
Without you doing shit.
Facts. and this is like next level, right? So we bought it. We did a cost segregation study on it. Okay. So we're able to take $1 million write-off year one. So $1 million write-off would have been the check I wrote for about $400,000 in taxes. Right, so I was able to take the write-off and keep $400,000 in my pocket day one as well. So and we bought this December 31st of 2021, the last day of the year.
Well, Uncle Sam's not gonna like that, bro. So, dude, Austin, man, bro, congrats on the deal. Amazing deal, dude.
Appreciate that, brother. It's one of many more to come, hopefully.
So, Austin, man, I also want to ask you regarding, and I chat with a few other real estate investors as well regarding the current market, man.
Yep.
So what are you doing differently, or anything that you're doing differently regarding the current real estate market?
100%. That's the big question that's out there right now. Personally, I'm not doing like super high-end long-term flips right now. Mm-hmm. So, stuff that I can get in and out of very quickly, 30-day rehabs, because markets aren't going to shift that much in 30 days, 6, 12-month, deals, anything can happen, right? So I'm staying out of the super, high-end market, long-term renovation type of market. And at the end of the day, I'm buying for cash flow because, even if these properties value go from 5.7 to 4.7, it really doesn't matter because I still have the cash flow that's coming in. So, I mean, the only reason businesses go bankrupt, people lose houses, people go bankrupt, is for lack of cash flow. So if you still have cash flow coming in, you're going to be all right. So I'm buying for cash flow, and I'm not, getting into super high end, long term type of deals.
Dude, love it, man. Now, Austin, for those that are starting out, should they be doing deals like you, or what should they be focusing on?
No, I mean,
Because a lot of people hear that number, they're like, "Hey, I want to do the exact same thing."
I do too. It took me 8 years to do it. But I mean, at the end of the day, like people always ask, like, should I do single family? Should I find a duplex? Should I get multifamily?
Mhm.
And what I say is like, just go market, right? Buy a list, whether it's singles or duplexes or multis, and start cold calling or door knocking or whatever it is. And when the right opportunity comes across your desk, if you have the deal, you can do whatever you want with it, right? If you get the deal and you can't raise the money, then you can wholesale it and still get paid. If you have the deal and then you can go raise the money, you can flip it or do the BRRRR method and keep it as a rental property. You can do whatever you want as long as you find that deal first. So people starting out, that don't really have much money kind of getting into the game, go find the deal. Do the cold calling, do the driving for dollars, do the door knocking, because once you have that, literally you control everything.
Boom. Now, Austin, so let's say I got $5,000 and I'm getting into the game. And I know you mentioned cold calling, but I'm working full time.
Yep.
I got no time for cold calling. I'm thinking about hiring a VA.
Yep.
What's your take, dude?
Yeah, I mean, I think VA is a great way to scale. There's obviously good VAs and bad VAs. I've personally never had the most success with virtual assistants, but I know a lot of people who swear by them. So hiring a cold caller, hiring a VA to cold call and or a VA to handle like SMS marketing, I think is a way to scale people's time within the business without investing that time. Because the thing is, like anybody out in the world right now, there's a cap to each individual's income. I have a cap to my income, you have a cap to your income, and you will never outgrow that income personally. Somebody's income might be 50 grand, somebody's income might be $5 million, but the only way to scale out of that is to leverage other people's times, which is hiring virtual assistants, hiring cold callers, hiring a sales team, all that stuff. So if you can't scale out of it, hiring a virtual assistant, in my opinion, what's it cost? $1,000, $1,500 a month to bring somebody on. So I think that could be a tremendous way to leverage time better.
Gotcha. Now, Austin, when you were starting out, when did you start hiring people? Like, when did you start bring on a team?
Way too late. So it probably took me 3 years to make my first hire. Because when I came into the game, like I was taught, find deals and flip houses using other people's money. So I didn't really understand the concept of wholesaling. So I passed on a lot because I wasn't buying rental properties at the time. So I passed like a lot of opportunities that would have been great wholesales for other people. I was flipping houses. In the first like 2 or 3 years of my business, I didn't flip a house that had less than $100,000 rehab for the first 2 or 3 years of my business. So I was running 18-hour days every single day, 7 days a week. And one of my mentors was and I was like making decent money, and I was making multiple six figures at the tail end of that. So like it was cool, but like I was going crazy. One of my mentors was like, yo, hire an assistant, hire an assistant, hire an assistant, hire an assistant. And I just kept, not doing it because I didn't want to have to pay somebody, $3-4 grand a month, whatever the number is. Finally hired an assistant. I was like, oh, this is dope. Like I'm making more money with less energy. And then that's kind of when it started to scale. So I hired an assistant, hired an acquisitions person, cold callers, dispositions, project management. But it took me like 3 years to really start, building out a team.
Bro, I think, Austin, you just touched on something, I mean, and I can totally relate with you. Same thing, man. When I started out fix and flipper, it was the nightmare, worst thing that anyone could do. And I'm telling you right now, if you're new into the game, right, dude, fix and flip, it's like, dude, the HGTV, I don't care, whatever it is, it makes it seem like it's very sexy. Wholesaling is very boring. But I'm telling you, boring business will give you the freedom, right, for you to do other stuff. Because I was babysitting contractor, driving down to the city multiple times, showing permits, all of that. Dude, it's just really nonsense. And just like you, Austin, I wasn't exposed to wholesaling. I kind of heard about the concept, but I was like, you know what, man? Why would I want to make 10K when I can make 30K? But I didn't know that 30K can turn into 5K. Facts. I didn't know that 30K potential profit on a flip can turn into a negative 5K.
Facts. 100%.
And the amount of hours.
I mean, that's the thing a lot of people don't realize is like when you buy houses, you have risk. You know, we just listed a house. Like I know for a fact I'm going to lose money on it. Like 100% guarantee I'm going to lose money. Now the question is, do I lose $1,000 or 20 grand? You know, that's the only question that we have right now. But like when you buy stuff, like there is risk to it. With wholesaling, literally all you're doing is flipping paper. So that you're not taking down assets with risk. So I agree with you 100%. For me personally, in my market, you know, I did tend to still flip houses that were small rehabs. You know, the big 100K rehabs that I was doing, like I was like, yo, I'm done. Like I'm never doing a rehab again. But now we'll do rehabs that are less than like 40 grand because I have a team that can get in and out of them in 30 days and it's very hands off. And instead of wholesaling for 10, make 30. But remember, I've done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of deals and tens of millions of dollars of construction. Like I have the team built, you know, it's not the easiest, and I still lose money today. Like it's not perfect. So,
and dude, Austin, man, I appreciate the transparency because most people, you know, obviously they're like, oh, I'm making money. Nobody want to share the losses because people think, oh, okay, it's going to make me look bad. But I think, dude, it's going to give you more credibility because people like the transparency and people can connect. Yes, dude, like you guys don't understand. Like people that flip on volume, I'm telling you, not every flip they're going to make money.
100%.
Right? And majority of them, it's not going to tell you that. There's only like 2 people or 3 people I talked to that's actually transparent. Austin, Pineda's also one of them as well. They're very transparent. And, you know, they basically let you know how it is. Dude, but if you're new into the real estate game, that I can tell you, and if you want to try the fix and flip, fine. Do it because you don't want to listen to me. That's fine. But make sure that, you know, just like cosmetic, something you can get in and get out within the next 30 to 45 days, especially in today's market. Dude, just don't mess with major rehab. And Austin, when I was first into the game, just like you, dude, I was taking on big monster rehab, burn houses, gutted the entire inside, raised the house, pour new foundation. And I think I know why, dude. I think all the experienced one understand, dude, all the experienced fix and flipper, they already know the game. So they're like, hey, leave this to the newbie that gets excited that's going into want to fix their first flip because they get excited about the big profit. Because yes, the uglier it is, the more money you're able to make because a lot of people don't want to do it and you want to do it. But until, you know, you're like Austin level here, you got a good team, even that, he's focused on something he can get in and out very quickly. So cosmetic, it's if you're going to go fix and flip, stick to cosmetic, my friend.
100%. Especially in today's market. Like there's no chance I'd be doing the type of rehabs I was doing, you know, when I first started in real estate right now, because it's 6 months minimum. In a perfect world, you're on to that thing for 6 months. Usually it's like 9 to 10 months. And there's a lot of things that can change in a 9 to 10 month period.
Absolutely agree. And Austin, I don't know if you have, so I go to CG and I can tell you guys right now, until you're in the mastermind, the network, most people will not pull the curtain back to share with you exactly what's going on with their business. And I can tell you right now, the people that have the best life, one is a wholesaler. The next one is the content creator. But I'm telling you, dude, the fix and flipper, dude, everybody in my CG, dude, everybody that fix and flip on volume, like, dude, they do like 10, 20 flip a month plus a month. 1, high overhead. 2, large amount of risk. And 3, dude, they grind like, dude, they work like hours. You're talking about 15, 16, 17, dude, they work a lot. And a lot of them right now, man, are chatting in the Facebook group where they're very concerned. They're very worried because they understand what's going on with the real estate market.
100%.
You know?
I mean, I was talking to a buddy in Utah. Normally there's like 5 houses active on the market. And in 60 days, it went from 5 active to 175 active. Huge change. 18 ongoing rehabs, like super high end. And they're listed on the market with $100,000 price drops, 0 showings. I'm like, that's scary, man. That's scary.
Yeah, dude. And these, like, you guys gotta understand, like, people in my mastermind, like, these guys been in the game for a long, long time. They gone through the 2008, so they understand what's going on, right? Yeah. And Dave Ramsey just posted a thing on TikTok. He's like, oh, the house, dude. Like, listen, like, I don't care about data. Like, to me, like, I don't care about data. I just care about what's going on right now. What's going on right now is you guys can see interest rates going up. Basically, the government is trying to slow down the real estate market, right? So they increase the interest rate. First-time home buyers, you know, the 3% that was qualified, boom, you're out of the game. And in multiple states, just like Austin just mentioned, if you look at the real estate market, things are sitting on the market for a lot higher. Prices already been dropping. Dude, if you're in Airbnb group, the wife, she's seen a bunch of Airbnb Facebook group. Dude, Airbnb are slowing down because cost of living is so much that people are now not traveling as much anymore. Like you guys need to see things that are just happening right now, right? It's crazy.
I'm with you. Like everyone's like all the data and supply and demand. But the problem is like one, the supply and demand's never made sense to me because they say like we're 1,000 units short or 10,000 units short. But the thing that I haven't quite understood yet is like, how are we short units if people that can afford to live in a house are not on the street homeless? Like where's the shortage coming from? So I've never really understood that. In the same argument, they're assuming that demand is going to stay the same. It's not. With interest rates going up, demand is slowing down, which means that it's now leveling off, right? So at the end of the day, statistics are great, and they might be right. Who knows? Right. But people make decisions based on emotion, right? I was in a group chat to guys that sell a lot to hedge funds, and like there was a period of time in like 2 weeks, it was like blank stopped buying, blank stopped buying, blank stopped buying. But the most interesting statistic was somebody said blank hedge fund hasn't stopped buying, but they reduced their offer amounts by 80% and had zero slowdown. So think about that. Think about that number. If they're now offering 80% less to homeowners and homeowners are still accepting the offers, the emotion is fire sale. So like, what does that lead to, right? And again, at the end of the day, nobody knows what's going to happen, but I think the risk versus reward is better to be on the safe side rather than the risky side right now, in my personal opinion.
Absolutely, dude. I agree with you 100%. Like I see people bring out chart and graph and matching it to this, dude. Dude, it just hurts my head. I just know I just seeing things that are happening right in front of me, right? Yeah. And you know, and just like Austin said earlier, like if you're fixing and flipping in the high end market, dude, that's where you should be really, really worried because when the recessions, the market's crashing, that's where it's going to hit the hardest.
For sure.
And I remember back in 2008, 2009, this is, you know, I haven't got into the real estate game, Austin. I got into real estate, I think 2012. And I spoke with one of the builder at the time. I was like, dude, this guy's rich. So he does about $1 million a year, which is a lot of money. But he's telling me, he's like, Khang, the reason why I escaped the 2008, 2009, when everybody else got wiped out, and you got to understand, like, these are experienced investors. My mentor almost got wiped out, but the guy's a freaking beast, dude. He owns like half of Hagerstown, Maryland, dude. He has like, I don't know, man, 500, 600, 700 units, right? Yeah. He almost got wiped out. And the reason why he didn't, bro, because he freaking wholesale like a monster. Like he just started turning property and getting that cash to come in to sustain whatever he got going on because he got too much rehab at the same time. Yep. So the guy told me, he said, Khang, it's because I stick with the bread and butter. I stick with the medium income blue collar house. So he said, hey, Khang, I was renting these houses breaking even. And if they're not breaking even, I'm coming out 100, 200, 300 bucks out of my pocket to keep the existing mortgage. But he said, Khang, I got 20 or 30 of these houses. He said, Khang, the one that gets, I have buddies that are doing in the multi-million dollars or $1 million home. And imagine every single month, 1,000 come out of your pockets times 10, times 20, times 30. And that's what he's saying. That's why it wiped people out. And so for him, you know, so he's just sticking with the bread and butter, the medium house income. And to me, you know, Lon and I, when we go get rental property, right? So we have a mixture of long-term rentals and Airbnb as well. Yep. So for us with rental, we stick with the 800, the 1,200 bucks a month, where it's affordable, 1,500, right? But when you get into that high end, I think when the market, when there's a corrections, those are the one that gets slowed down and get hits the most.
Agreed, 100%. And like a lot of our deals are in Columbus, Ohio, the entry level is like 150 to 250
Yeah.
price points. And like that's where we're staying at because you can flip it and get out of it and make a profit. And if you can't, then you can still rent it out and cash flow it for $1,000, $1,200, $1,500 a
Yep.
month. Yeah, I'm with you 100%. Back to the Airbnb because I have 7 Airbnbs in
Oh,
Columbus, Ohio. They're not luxury. They're more like 2 bed, 1 bath, just standard type of rentals. But curious to hear your thoughts. You said you had them. I've been thinking like, hey, like people don't have as much money to spend.
yep.
They're going to travel less, which means there's not going to be as much income.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on that? Are you moving them to long term instead of keeping them short term, or are you making any pivots or adjustments yet?
Yeah, so for us right now, we got one in Arizona, and the thing is what Lon's doing is that she's obviously one is adjusting the price, right? Gotta lower it. And we
Yep.
understand right now in Arizona, with the market being what it is, summertime is not good for Arizona, right?
Yeah.
Most people don't go there because it's 120, 150, right? And nobody wants to cook eggs outside.
Yep. Yep.
So we are focused on doing that, and then we're also focusing on is seeing that if we can get into um maybe do a traveling nurse or something like that that can go in there and stay for a 3 month or whatever, cut him a discount. So
Yep.
things like that Lon's gonna probably be doing, but definitely see the slowdown with not just in Arizona but in other states that people have Airbnb as well, man.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. We've started to play with the option of like the nurse, the
Yep.
midterm stays.
Yep.
I think that can be huge. And then I've thought about taking them all back to long term. So I have 7. Only one is like higher end. The other
Yep.
6, were long term rentals that I just decided to try to turn into Airbnbs. So I'm like, should we go back to long-term rentals? So, I don't know. We're watching numbers very closely month over month to make sure profitability is still there. And if it's not, we're definitely going to roll them back to long-term.
Awesome, man. Austin, dude, let's wrap this up, man. For those, bro, thank you so much for your time to jump on here. Bro, Austin's dropping a lot of bombs. You guys, if you enjoyed this, once again, boom, smash that thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, be sure to boom, smash that subscribe button. Now, Austin, how can people go connect with you, follow you, get your book, man, and get in contact with you and get that money with you, man?
No, 100%, brother. So I'm the most active on Instagram at Austin Rutherford Official. I'm responding to DMs and all the time. So definitely connect with me on there. TikTok is at Austin Rutherford. And then if you want to grab the book, Get Free Houses, it's howtogetfreehouses.com. You can check that out as well.
Bro, love it. And I'll make sure you guys, I'll put all of Austin link just right below in the descriptions. Austin, any last word that you want to say to all the
Uh,
viewers, man?
First, again, appreciate the opportunity coming on here, brother, 100%. But kind of ending the book tour, one of the biggest takeaways that I had from it is, a lot of people when they're trying to get into real estate, wants to learn everything from A to Z before they ever do A. And I don't even know Z yet. Like I'm still learning, right? So biggest thing I want to stress to people is like whatever it is that you're thinking about doing, like go ahead and do it, right? It's not a question of if real estate works. Real estate works. It's a proven fact. It's only are you working the system. So highly encourage people just to learn like A, B, and C, which is like marketing, and go do that. And then start getting calls and then learn D, E, and F, et cetera, et cetera. So there's no time like the present, long story short.
Love it, dude. Awesome, man. Thank you so much for your time to jump on to do this with me, man. But look forward to connecting with you in real life.
Likewise, brother.
Thanks, Austin. Take care, dude. Boom. All right. So for those of you, listen, if you are starting out, you've seen all my video, but you're still lost, confused, you're overwhelmed, like you don't have the clarity, the directions of what's the exact step to take. For those of you who wants to learn how to wholesale, I've been wholesaling for the past 5 years, and I do it completely virtual, which means I don't need to meet the seller, see the property, meet up with the buyer. Everything can be done completely over the phone. I've built a team of 7 VA, which are virtual assistant. They're all from the Philippines. So which means I keep my overhead very, very low. I focus more on building a lean, mean machine versus having a big operation and a high expense overhead. And I can teach you exactly how to do the exact same thing grow, scale your existing wholesaling business, putting a system, put a team in place so to take your wholesaling operation to the next level, or maybe you just want to close your first wholesale deal, check out my free training. Go to WTMclass.com. It's a free training that I created just for you. Once again, you guys, I hope you guys enjoy this interview. Comment down below anyone else that you want me to bring onto the channel. Comment down below. And if it gets a lot of likes or gets a lot of comment, then I'll reach out to them. Thank you so much, you guys. Until next time, take care and ciao.